excited to be here to talk about three of my projects done in InFocus. And the first one will be the lifestyle magazine. This is the project I'm most proud of because I just love the outcome and the overall ambience of the design. And I also got to use my favorite type of design elements, such as the big typeface and the large chunks of colors. And the requirements of this project is to create a lifestyle magazine for a targeted niche audience with the attention to the layouts. So now I'm going to share my screen to show you guys my first project. So what you're seeing on screen is the spreads of the magazine. And here are the three covers of three different issues. Okay. Um, and the challenge here was to design a consistent layout for different features in the magazine. So the approach had to be consistent, similar, but different. So the design elements I used here were big typographical approach, creative layouts, and the white spaces. So which enables me to be creative on the styles, but also stay with the consistency. So, and the second is the book cover of the yellow wallpaper. And this is my favorite project of all because I'm a big fan, I'm a big book lover, and visualizing the concept of a book is always the thing I love to do. This project requires a composite of five images for a serial book cover. So what you see here is the front cover, the back cover, and the spine. And the design approach here is the selection of symbolic elements from the book to represent the struggle of the protagonist. But for the challenge here is how to composite five images and adjust the direction of the light to make it all seem to be under the same setting. So I use color corrections and level adjustments in Photoshop to make all layers appear to have the same exposure. This is the Indigo Design Award, and I won the bronze reward, the bronze award. Yep. And then we have the Beverage packaging project. This project requires to create a conceptual design for three flavors of a beverage. I like this project because this project entails an interesting story of the ancient Egyptian gods. So what you see here is the front label and the back label of the three different direction of the designs. So the challenge here is also the concept development. So I researched into the story of the ancient Egyptian gods, and then I finally developed this series of visual designs for an herbal remedy drink with a story empowered by the most famous Egyptian gods, Anubis, Ra, and Sekhmet. So thank you very much, guys. This is all my projects, and I hope you enjoy it. I think the most valuable experience I gained from InFocus is learning from my peers, because it's actually like working with designers in real world. Everyone's super talented. And I love how like we have those group critique sessions, so we get to learn how to give constructive feedback as well as how to listen to those feedbacks and suggestions from our peers as well as our instructors. Yeah. Well, definitely. As I said lots of times, I think entering this program is one of my best decisions in my life. And if you want to be a graphic designer, because there are so many different scopes you can do as a graphic designer, you can do graphic design, can do UX, UI, you can do like video editing, or do you want to run your own business? I'm just so grateful that we've learned all of these in one single program. We get to know almost nail all the softwares in Adobe Creative Suite. And when I was browsing all the job opportunities in like around the world, not just Canada and America, designers are expected to do so many things, but also if you know all of skills and you're like the world is your oyster, you can do whatever you want. And I never expect I can learn so many things at a time from one single program. I just admire all my peer classmates. You guys are so amazing. I learned so much from you guys, and the instructors from InFocus program is just amazing. They are always so supportive. They know so many things, so you can always expect for so many feedbacks from them. It's a very rewarding experience. So I definitely recommend everyone to join this program.
Well, hi, I'm Abigail. Um, yeah, I just would love to share with you some of my favorite projects that we got to make at InFocus Film School. I loved it. Um, yeah, I'm gonna start with one. It's called Hamony. It's a city branding project that we got to do. Um, this project is, yeah, it's one of my favorites, probably because I would love to travel there, and I just got so inspired by some of the photos. So I'll just share my screen here and show you what I created. So Hamony is a little fishing village in Norway. And so I kind of wanted to play off of that, the fact that it's a fishing village, and kind of run with the theme of a fish for this, because that's who they are. And it's a very traditional community. And so this is kind of what I've come up with. There's little shirts to go with that. The font that I went with for the city branding project was something very simple and traditional, again, to kind of go with that, the flow of what this community really represents. So I wanted something, yeah, especially the little detail in the O there. I created a bunch of different fish that kind of can be swapped out throughout promotional pieces, and that kind of idea, because there's never just one fish in the sea. So I wanted to represent that. Um, yeah, and going along with that, the color palette I used was very simple. It was deep blues and reds and light blues. The red represents the little cabins that they have, their little fishing lodges that the sailors would come in and they would stay overnight when they were fishing. And so it seems like a very historical thing. So I use those little elements throughout. And then, yeah, the deep blue to represent the water, and then the light blue for the sky. And yeah, I wanted to just keep the airy because there's lots of mountains, lots of air. It's very natural. And so I think, yeah, this is my favorite project. I love the way it turns out. It's very crisp and clean. And I think that's a lot of my style. And I also created a postcard here because everything's along a side of a hill there in that little village. So that is my first project. The second one that I also really love, but is probably the most challenging one that I did, would be the cookbook project. So I loved it because my goal here was to create a very feminine journal-like cookbook. And it was inspired just by single ladies just having the problem of trying to create meals that are for one when you live alone. So that was kind of the root of where that came from. And going off of that, I wanted to keep it very feminine, and I wanted to make it a coffee table book. So double purpose. Because you know what, if you're single, you live alone, you don't have much space. So I wanted to play off of that. Um, so this is kind of, I use very pretty decals, so like flowers, soft pinks, and then for the font choice for the actual title is Solo, and it's black and it's kind of a chic font. I chose that just because of the fact that growing up, I was always told there's this little thing like saying of every girl should own a little black dress. So that's kind of where it came out of, a very like almost sexy font that I wanted to use for that. And then throughout it, there's little Polaroids to kind of document this girl's journey of adventures of single alone, as well as this very handwritten font to make it more of a journal-like effect throughout it. So this is my second project here. It's a little cookbook. And then lastly, this is one that also challenged me, but I love the way it turned out. It was a little more out of my comfort zone than normal. I'm a very minimal, I like pastel colors, but this is more popping, and I got challenged to actually just make something that was out of my comfort zone. This is the completely different from what my original sketches were from, but it is called Petite Étude, and it's beverage packaging. And so it is based off of fairy tales and like, yeah, the dazzling magical daily life. So yeah, the Petite Étoile actually means little star. And so I wanted to represent the when you wish upon a star, that kind of idea there. And so the actual logo and like the title itself is sitting in a little a window. So it's like a castle window where you look out and you see the star and wish upon it. Um, and I wanted it to be very fun and playful. So you can see this is my first one. It's mythical marshmallow. It has little unicorns. And then these are some of my original sketches that are very kind of different from what it ended up being, which I think is kind of cool. And yeah, again, some unicorns. And then the second one was the fairy wands. And then the last one, which I think is one of my favorites, is the mermaids. So it's the cotton candy curse. So yeah, those are all my projects there. I love how they all turned out. Yeah, so that's it. My favorite part about of learning at InFocus, I would say, yeah, it goes along with what Jill said, is that there was so much like working with your classmates. I loved the interaction of how like it wasn't just, I don't know, it was a very good like a classroom environment where we could like chat with each other on the side and talk with each other and interact that way. And it felt more of like, yeah, it felt very like a safe place to learn where you can like yeah, it was yeah, it was just you could say you could kind of put a project up there and people would just be like, change this, or they'd give you so many ideas where like the chat would be going where it was like, you could do this, or you could add this, or like fix the kerning on this, or like change the colors and maybe it would be good. And they're all like such great ideas. And it was so like, it was just fun. I think that just made it so fun that that everyone, there was inside jokes that happened throughout random little things. And it was just, I don't know, it was the interaction that I really loved too. Yeah, something I really loved and appreciated about this program is how quick the teachers responded and like helped out. Before this program, I actually was doing a different program. Like I started one at a different school. And the teachers would take like 3 to 4 to a week to get back to me on something. And it would take forever. And these teachers, like literally you would text Layla and like 2 minutes later, she'd be like, here's like 3 pages of things you can do. And I think that was like, it's just so like the school is so good because it was just like there was no waiting around. It was just like, and they wanted to help you. It wasn't like a okay, change this. It was like, I have so many ideas to help you out and make you better and go with what you're making. And yeah, the teachers were amazing. That's what I have to say.